The first fighter to enter the ring is so tall that shorter people use him as a meeting point at parties. He has the craziest arms in world sport with a whopping 2-meter wingspan. I know, right? So he is known as the albatross of chess boxing. So make some noise for our very own big bird, Matt Crazy Arms Reed!
I didn't realise it really well. It's a lot of fun as well. I didn't know that was fighting now. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Yeah.
Let's have a huge cheer for our Crazy Arms! Yes! Matt's got an amazing record. 15 wins, 8 large losses, no draws. Stands at 200 centimeters tall with a reach of 203 centimeters. Give it up for one more time for our white corner fighter, Matt Crazy Arms Reed! Oh, well, who is joining our experienced chess boxer in the ring? Well, this is another newbie. I know, it's one for you, Virgins. So this fighter was an under-16 chess champion. Ooh! His arms are almost as long as the Crazy Arms, with a whopping 190 centimeters wingspan. And he's a teacher and the head of a maths department. Oh. So let's see if he can do some long division on our Crazy Arms here. In the black corner, weighing in at 84 kilograms, Dan the Wall. Alright, Dan! So he's got Chess Eater of 2094. We're going to see some spicy chess in this round. Give it up one more time for Dan the Wall! His boys supporters in. Let's give it up for both our fighters in this second bout. Matt Crazy Arms Reed and Dan the Wall. Oh! Enjoy your bout, everyone.
You'll get B4. Yeah. He said he was outside of it. Always. I can't believe he had a cigarette. Yeah, but I guess, Dan's a very good chess player, so he might be ready for it. Yeah, been extra when they start hitting each other hard. It always happens. They were supposed to be just heavy sparring. They're mates, and they didn't want to.
Well, it's meant to be an exhibition fight, and then he's like killed him.
I don't know. I've seen that.
That's the famous.
The first one?
No. That's the one where, I mean, spoilers, Apollo Creed dies.
I don't know, my favourite character is Mr. T. He's in one, isn't he?
Yeah.
And they are off. Two giants by stature, two very good. Oh, that's an unusual move, Simon. Right from the off from Matt there.
But we got to hear it. Chess. Come on. Chess. Let's hear it. Chess. 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 Chess.
So we were saying in the last match how it's about developing and controlling the center of the board. Matt Reed is doing this quite unconventionally, it's fair to say.
Yeah, the player with the white pieces, he starts the game. There's 3 parts to the game of chess. You have the opening, the middle game, and the end game. Now, there are 1,500 openings with different names. And the opening that Matt has played is called the orangutan. And they say that any opening named after an animal is complete rubbish. Basically. But he's doing all right. He's developed his bishop, and he's one of the most experienced chess boxers who's ever been here, I guess, who's ever taken part. I mean, he's had how many fights now?
40 fights now. I've had the pleasure of being in the ring with him a couple of times and come off worse.
Well, I have to say, Chris, I did actually arbit the fight you had with him. So the person next to me here, Chris, has already fought against Matt. And did you win?
Eventually, but after being under a lot of pressure from Matt, it's fair to say. And Dan is a very good player, and he's developing classically. He's occupying the center with the pawns, controlling it with the pieces. An attack on the knight, though, there from Matt.
I have to say, I really like White's last move. And now that pawn, it came up in the middle, and the chessboard is gone. Oh, no. There could be riots here if we don't get the chessboard back. So, riots in the room. Okay, so...
And we're back. We're back with the chess, Simon. It's what everyone wants to see. Everyone wants to see the chess. What's Dan going to do? Oh, he moves that knight into the center. Doesn't want it swapped off there by the bishop, perhaps.
I'd say both these players, very, very good chess players. Dan has a very high rating. Put him in one of the elite classes in chess. And I love his last move. Remember, the center of the board is very important, and he's put his knight right into the center. He's developing his pieces, moving his bishop. Now, we could have an exchange of pieces. Matt could go knight takes knight. The knight moves in an L shape, but then black will take the knight back. So it'd be, the knight is 3 points. 3 points to 3 points there.
It's a fair exchange, but what I like about black's position here is everything is geared towards control of that 1 point. All his pieces in support of that knight right in the center of the board there. He's really made that a strong point, and now he's just dropped the bishop back from the threat from the knight and left the knight looking maybe a little bit silly at the side of the board there. Knights on the rim are dim, they say, Simon.
That's right. If you put a knight on the side of the board, they say it's a very bad place to put the knight. Don't put your knights on the side. Knights on the rim are dim. A little chess rhyme there.
That's one to take away. Let's see how Matt is going to... Actually, no, it's Dan's move now.
Yeah, both players playing very good chess at the moment. I can see this being a very long, long game of chess. He's taken a piece. First battle. White captures back, and the other knight comes in. This is very aggressive play from Dan. Black is going on the attack. Now, if it was Black's move, the knight would take the queen. So you have another capture. 2 more pieces come off. But it's still equal. They've still got the same amount of points in the position.
Same amount of points, but look how the pieces are distributed. Look how well coordinated blacks are, all towards the same goal. We're talking about that knight on the rim not being best positioned. Now Matt has to worry about defending it. Simon, very interesting opening round there. Matt playing the orangutan opening that he is renowned for. Unconventional, not often seen at the highest level. Psychologically a great tactic. However, he's certainly, to my mind, I don't know what you think, but he's come out of that opening round quite a lot worse there, I think, looking at how the pieces are distributed.
Yeah, I think if we look at the chessboard now, if you can see the chessboard, actually Matt is in a lot of trouble because the white knight on the side of the board, the queen can take it. And there's no easy way for white to save that knight. Whatever happens, that knight is in trouble. You can maybe guard it with a pawn, but then your king side disappears. So I think Matt has to, again, he has to get the advantage in the boxing now. Really must come out punching hard.
Yep, and it's interesting to see that Matt, tall, thin. This is the first time I've seen him against someone with the same stature. So I wonder how he will react to maybe not having his natural advantages that he normally has in the box. As you say, he can defend that knight with the pawn in front of his king, but he's then going to lose his h-pawn on the other file, let the bishop in, and really he's going to be subject to a very strong attack.
I mean, the boxing's going to be so interesting because, like you say, they've got very long reach, but I think Matt, very experienced at this, he really must throw some very hard punches here. I know that Matt has broken someone's jaw in this before.
That he has. He may not look the most muscular and powerful, but he's really worked on his technique. He's a very canny operator. He'll know he's in trouble in the chess, and he'll know what he has to do here in the boxing.
He's going to come out boxing straight away, come out fighting hard.
Pumping, both of them aiming to establish the jab, which is really often what you see where they're both looking for supremacy. Dan firing it back as well, landing a good couple of square jabs. Actually, they're both really pumping away with the left hand there.
Yeah, I mean, they're both using their jab a lot, aren't they? I mean, I think they've got to start getting some combinations going in this.
Well, if you're Matt especially, I think, given the chess situation. And there you go. Matt's the first one to unload the right hand. He missed with the power shot there, but he's clearly looking for it. He's looking busy and looking to set that up. And his coach in the corner.
He misses. Oh, my words. That was a great punch by Dan, but why didn't he follow through there? He got a good couple of punches to the head. He maybe had a chance of a knockout there. I have to say, Dan's been very impressive. His first ever boxing fight. A
first timer taking on someone so experienced. He's looking good on both the boxing and the chess. We could be witnessing the birth of a chess boxing superstar here in front of us, Simon.
Well, yeah, I mean, for his first fight, it's extremely impressive. But now Matt's getting a couple of punches in. And I think Dan is dropping his guard a little bit too much. He's leaving his head very open. I mean, Dan has got to get that guard up.
Matt is landing with a jab, but he's not putting together the combinations. He needs the power shot. You're not going to knock someone out with that kind of left-hand jab. It's going to have to be bringing that right hand that he's keeping a little bit too holstered for Mike. That's a good...
Look at that reach. He's getting... Punch! What a punch there! What a great punch from Dan. There's a chance here. He's got to keep going. Brilliant boxing there.
Countered Matt there. Matt got excited about landing a combination and started opening up himself and left himself wide open. It's settled down a bit now.
Match, doesn't it, here, Chris? Really good boxing.
In the boxing, I would find it hard to score this either way. The ring's gone. A touch of gloves for the respect now. And now Matt's mind is already turning to the difficult problem of how to hold his position together. Looking at it, maybe you can play the pawn in front of your king forward one, keep the knight there. Obviously, then when the bishop comes in and takes the pawn, you have to deal with a threat against the rook. But you can maybe bring the knight back to g2, the square in front of the king. Try and stick the knight on f4, solidify things. But really, this is a very, very hard position to play as white.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually very surprised just how well Dan fought in the boxing there. Let's remember that was Dan's first ever boxing fight. And Matt's had 40 fights, something crazy. But if we look at the chess position, the white knight, knights on the rim are dim. You said it, Chris. That white knight on the side of the board is terrible. It's so bad. And the only way to guard that, as you mentioned, is with a pawn. But you move that pawn and your whole king side falls apart. So it's looking very bad for Matt in the chess. But let's see, they both had a couple of punches. maybe their level of chess is going to go down now.
Yep, so one thing that Dan has not had, obviously, is the experience of going live from the boxing to the chess. And yes, his position may be very strong, but can he press it home when he's got all that kind of adrenaline coursing? Simon, we are back. What a round of boxing. A difficult position for Matt Reed here in the chess with the white pieces.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, amazing round of boxing. Like Dan, his first ever fight came out brilliantly. But now it's to the chess. Are we going to hear it for the chess? There we go. And we see Black taking a pawn with his bishop. It looks like a very good position for the black pieces. Look at the white king. There's the black bishop hovering around there like a bad smell. And he's bringing the queen in. He's bringing it in for the kill. The queen is getting nearer that white king, Chris. Looks dangerous.
It's very well coordinated from Dan. As you say, he took a pawn, but more than that, his pieces are swarming around the white king. Matt played really the only move there, the knight back, both to defend, well, both to save it, but also to try and defend the king. But look at the white squares around the white king. It's almost like a Swiss cheese type position there, all those holes.
And we see that Dan has just won a pawn there. The queen swinging to the other side of the board. So now Black is points up in the chess. But it's not about points, it's about getting to the opponent's king. And I think what Black should be doing here is put the queen back near White's king. Go for the checkmate. Bring that queen back over to the other side of the board. Would he play it? No, I don't like that move. Too passive there. Where's he going with the queen? He's moving it too many times there, Chris.
Yeah, he's moved it somewhere in two moves where he could have moved it in one move. And now Matt's lining up that queen behind the bishop, and they're both pointing towards the black king. Matt's starting to come back into it, getting a little bit of play here. Dan starting to respond to his moves rather than force the pace himself.
Well, now Black should definitely capture that knight with the bishop. They're both worth 3 points, and he does play it. He captures the knight, and White captures back. We have some tactics on the board, but will Black get that queen near the white king? You can go for checkmate. Bring it nearer. What's he going to play?
Yes, what a move!
What a move there!
What a move!
He's threatening checkmate in one move. Oh! Apply.
Yes, I love that from Matt. Unflustered by the checkmate threat. He's pinning the queen with his own queen.
That's right. The black queen will now love to go and give checkmate. But you can't move the black queen because you're moving to check. But he's given check. That is a check. The pawn is attacking the white king. That's a check. And now the bishop gets rid of the check there. But the queens will be coming off the board. There's no way to avoid it. You can't move the black queen because you'd be putting the black king into check. So you have to swap the queens off here. And we're going to have an ending.
This is one for the aficionados, Simon. An ending when the queens come off, the tactical threats come out of the position. It becomes about technique. It's one for the true chess lovers in the crowd here.
The queens are off. They're all coming off.
So what's the material balance here? Who's on top?
At the moment, Black Dan is 2 pawns up. But it's a very tricky position. Look at White's rooks. White's rooks, which move in a straight line, are attacking Black's pawns. And I think next move, one of those rooks will come into the position. So I actually think Matt has done much better in this round of chess than he did in the first round. He's back in the game. This will now be a very long game of chess. There's not many pieces left here.
He's averted the immediate danger, and we've not talked about the time either. Dan has 3 minutes, Matt has 5. Matt Crazy Arms Reed there, using all his experience.
Very good comeback there from Matt in the chess. We're going to go to the boxing. It was so interesting last round, and very good boxing from both sides there. And I expect the same again now, Chris. I mean, there could even be a knockout here. It was very close in the last boxing.
There was a time when both of them looked rocked. But really, let's take a moment to pay homage to the experience of Matt Reed. At the start of that round, he was a pawn down, He had the pieces swarming around his king. Dan maybe didn't press it. Dan got distracted by that extra pawn on the queen side. Maybe a little bit greedy, thought I'll have that, when probably he should have pressed home the advantage around the king. And now Matt, okay, objectively he has the worst position because he's 2 pawns down. But he has the piece activity, and another factor for the real chess aficionados here, those two bishops are the opposite colours, which in certain circumstances can be tending towards a draw as well. So he's given himself real chances here.
I totally agree, yeah. I mean, the chess position is actually quite unclear now. I think both sides have chances, yes. Of course, black has the better position. But, you know, it's not as bad as it was. I think it's right back in the game for Matt. But I'm really excited about this boxing round.
Definitely. Let's see if Matt can carry the momentum into it after swinging things back in the chess. It starts off in a very similar manner to the first one. They're both pumping out that long left jab, trying to establish the supremacy. Dan is going for the right to the body, a little bit more variation from him. Matt is looking very busy. Look at how he's really pumping out that left. 2, 3, sometimes even 4 times in one. A great left hook there from Dan to start. Oh, but then a combination back from Matt. I'm really liking this back and forth action from two big men here who normally you don't see, with this volume of punch output.
No, I totally agree. I mean, I don't think Matt's ever fought anyone at his length, the jab. He's got a very long jab as well, and he's finding that a little bit hard because he just can't keep Matt at distance. And also, when you're fighting someone so tall, maybe you just get in towards them, get in under their defences.
That's
true. I can see Dan's the more aggressive boxer at the moment.
We're not seeing much close-up action. They're both, because they're tall and they're both using to fighting shorter fighters, they're both staying at distance and looking for those straight punches. What I might like to see maybe Dan try is working his way a little bit more in behind that jab and then unloading towards the body. A good stiff jab there for Matt. This is another very even round, I have to say. This is high-quality chess boxing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they seem very evenly matched here. I mean, you can see they're not really getting any combinations going. They're both just going for jabs at the moment, trying to keep a little bit of distance. I think this could be decided in the chess for that reason. That's a great punch, though. Great punch.
I think it could be decided on the chess, and I think it could be going deep on the chess, looking at the position as well. We could be, Matt narrowly missing with,
another great punch.
Good left hook there from Dan. Tries following up with another one, but missed. Matt looking at it, and we are back to the chess. Another great round of back and forth there. And we're back to a much more evenly balanced chess here as well, Simon. And Matt with those open lines as well. We could potentially see some rook penetration to the 7th. And I don't know about you, but at 8:15 on a Saturday evening, I love seeing some penetration, Simon.
Well, it might be a little bit early for penetration on Saturday night. I mean, that often happens later in the day. But
we're in North London, Simon. It's quite liberal up here.
I guess that's true. I mean, I don't know North London so well, but is it good for penetration on the 7th rank?
Anything goes, but as we to come back seriously to the point, those two rooks on open files swooping down. Okay, the pawns are there. They could hoover up those pawns.
You can see Dan. Look at him. He's actually looking at the chessboard. He's already trying to work out his next move. But the thing is, I'm very surprised just how well Matt did in that last round of chess. Because look at the time. He's got 2 minutes, 2-minute advantage, and he's got the initiative here. So actually Dan now has to play much quicker, and he needs to defend. I don't think he can defend those pawns. It's impossible.
Psychologically, it's very difficult. And you'll have been in a situation where you've had a better position that you know objectively you should be winning, and then you've let your opponent back. It's quite hard to readjust. So Simon, we're back, and we're into an end game situation here. Black has a couple of extra pawns, but White has some quite serious activity here.
We're back into the chess. Come on, chess, let's do it. So now the white rook can come down and take that pawn, and he's played it. The white rook's come in.
And that is a great position for the rook on what we call the 7th rank there. you know, it exerts a lot of influence. You can see it swoops across towards the other pawns on the king side. White's dream scenario here is to get that other rook as well on the 7th. That could spell some quite serious trouble if that ever happens.
Yeah, and now black is going for a counterattack, but this could backfire. White can bring his other rook up 2 squares and capture that pawn. And he's played it. And this is looking now very good for Matt on the chessboard. If Matt can move that rook 1 square forwards, he's going to have a very strong attack. And I'm not sure what Dan's going to do. He's only got 2 minutes, 10 seconds left. Is he going to come in with a check? He's coming, he's captured a pawn. But now put the rook up 1 square, Matt. 1 square, here we go.
Oh, he's done it!
It's a great
He has done it! Double rook penetration, Simon! Double rook penetration.
Penetration on the 7th, always a good idea. And the problem here is that white rook can come near the black king. Now Matt has at least a draw on the chessboard. Look at that rook coming in with a check. Check! The king runs away. And that's a great defensive idea now. He's brought the bishop back to defend.
That was very crafty from Dan. He knew he was going to be in trouble from that penetration, so took defensive measures.
Very clever. It's still in the balance. It's equal material on the board. Matt has an extra 2 minutes on the clock. He's brought his rook 1 square. Now black might be able to bring in with a check. And this is now very dangerous. The bishop comes in. There is
my word.
checkmate threat on the board. The black rook, if it was black to play, would come near the white king and give checkmate. And it's checkmate in 1 move.
He's not seen it. He has not seen it.
Dan can checkmate. 1 move. The rook comes in. The rook checks
Man knows it. He knows it. It's going to happen. Here it comes.
Hang on a minute.
Here it comes. Checkmate. Checkmate. Oh, my word. How did that happen?
What a turnaround that was. Amazing turnaround. That's a great...
What a fight, Simon. What a bout.
I'd say very impressed with Dan's boxing and chess there. Really good play. Really good play from both sides.
Okay, what an amazing bout of chess boxing. We have a winner. What? I told you this was going to be spicy, this one. So, from the black corner,